Hello everyone, and welcome to my review for Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 153. You have no idea how long I have waited to say those words. Finally, we're back from the hiatus. So, before I get into this week's review, I have a message different from the usual one. I have to preface that this review is being recorded Thursday morning, because on Friday until Tuesday, I will have no opportunities to record and upload a reaction or a review. So rather than being late, like really late to the return of Jujutsu Kaisen, I think it'd be better to be a little too early. So today's review is going to be based off the text spoilers that we have in the Jujutsu Kaisen Discord server. So I'm not going to be able to talk too much about the art or anything like that in this chapter, because we still haven't gotten panels to drop, but we do have a complete translation of all of the dialogue and descriptions of just about everything that happens in the chapter, so hopefully I will be able to adequately give my opinion and analysis on everything that happens. So, without any further ado, let's get right into Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 153. Also, for those of you who don't know, I am a little sick, so that's why I sound that way. So yeah, let's get into the review. So, in this week's chapter, we follow Yuji and Megumi as they go on their way to try and find Hakari. So it seems like we are saving whatever Yuta is doing for last. I'm still assuming that what's going to happen is Yuta's just going to show up in one of the colonies and everyone but one really strong curse user or curse is going to be there, and he's going to fight them. I figure that's probably what'll happen, something like that. So Tengen tells them where to find Hakari, and he's pretty much running an underground fight ring that people come to gamble on, which is not really what I expected. I guess Hakari's normal gambling was something that he would have done prior to everything going to shit, but now that everything is all crazy, it seems like Hakari's like, oh shit, whatever, I can do big gambling now. Fuck slot machines, fuck gacha games. Let's do a fight ring. Now, there does seem to be more than just having normal people fight here. For starters, it seems like apparently they have Jujutsu sorcerers fight each other, which, as Megumi points out, is illegal to do in front of normal people, but, I mean, Hakari's suspended for beating up one of the higher-ups, so I don't think Hakari really gives a shit about stuff like that. So, as far as I understand from these translations, is that Hakari finds someone in these fights that he really likes, that he finds very compelling, and he writes out a narrative for them, like a wrestling fighter, and they will go and play out that story. Now, I don't know if that has something to do with his technique, where he's able to make people fulfill certain actions, in which case I didn't expect Hakari to have fucking Heaven's Door for his curse technique, but that may not be it. Alternatively, he's just rigging the matches, which I think is something that's brought up, is that sometimes the matches are not fair. The matches are thrown in favor of one person or the other for the sake of entertaining the audience and making money off of bets. So Yuji and Megumi turn up at this place. They have some problem with the guards. We almost get like kind of a Fight Club thing, you know, like the first rule of Fight Club, nobody talks about Fight Club, but Yuji joins in as a fighter. He fights, or there's some kind of assassin that shows up, but Panda's also here. Panda was also looking for Hakari, and Yuji and Panda actually fight each other. Now, while Yuji and Panda are fighting each other, we see Hakari is watching the fights on, like, surveillance footage, and there is another person with him. And this fine lady is Hoshi Kirara, who is another third year at Jujutsu Tech. And according to Panda, she has a troublesome curse technique. She's probably kind of strong too. It's not specified which technical school she's from, Tokyo or Kyoto. I feel like she's probably from the Tokyo school. That just kind of makes the most sense to me, but who knows? So they're hanging out. According to the original leaker, they say Kirara is Hakari's girlfriend. This is never outright stated in the chapter, but I do feel it's kind of implied. Hakari mentions his ex-girlfriend, and Kirara is like, would you please shut up about your ex? That seems like something that a current girlfriend would do, not really wanting to hear about the person who was there before her. So, I'm not sure any of us expected that, but hey, it's welcome. Once again, we basically have the only image leak so far, at the time of recording this, of Kirara's eye. One of the only notable physical features about her that we have had described is that her eyes have, like, stars in them. I'm wondering if that has something to do with her technique, because Hakari plans on sending her to observe, I think, Megami? So I wonder if her technique has something to do with her eyes. That may be interesting, and I could certainly see how that would end up being a very troublesome technique to deal with. The other description we've gotten of Kirara from the leaks is that she has big boobs, so I guess Hakari has a type. I'm sure Toto and him would get along fairly well. They would not be best of friends, like Yuji, but I'm sure they would have a mutual understanding with each other. Now, Hakari has been kind of bored with the fights. He hasn't really found anyone that impressive. Feels like not really anyone can beat Panda. And then Yuji beats Panda, and he gets very, very excited. Apparently, he hasn't been this excited since his ex-girlfriend went on a shopping spree and then had to pay back all of her fucking credit card debt or whatever. Funny stuff. This is a pretty funny chapter based on what I can tell. I'm sure, you know, once the actual speed scans are out, we'll all enjoy it very much. So, you guys let me know in the comments if it turned out to be as funny as I think it is at the time of recording this. So, yeah, it seems like the mission to recruit Hakari is going to be a little unique, because Hakari is not actively an enemy, but he doesn't want anything to do with Jujutsu Tech right now. Yuji and Megami had to not disguise themselves, but they had to hide the fact that they're students. So it seems like that's going to be the way to get to Hakari. I wonder why exactly, other than him being suspended. Maybe he's like, oh fuck, I'm going to get in more trouble, or I'm going to get dragged off away from this excellent money-making business that I'm in the middle of right now. That's a possibility. And of course, I'm very excited to see the actual reveal for Hakari's technique, which is obviously coming up very soon. I wonder if we're going to see it in combat, if it's an actual combat technique, because I do get the feeling that in the Cullen game, we're going to get a lot of very strong techniques that aren't necessarily offensive techniques. We're going to get some kind of hacks shit. And I do feel that Hakari is going to be big hacks, whatever he has going on. If he's occasionally stronger than Yuta, it's going to be something like that. We also now have to consider what's going on with Kirara. How does she stack up to everyone else in terms of power? If Panda thinks that her technique is going to be something annoying to deal with, I wonder what that is. I think we're going to be having a lot of techniques, once again, that are not necessarily like big damage output, but there's something annoying. Like Boogie Woogie. Boogie Woogie is not a dangerous or super powerful technique, but when it's in the hands of someone that knows how to use it, or it's in favorable circumstances, you are going to be in for a very rough time. So yeah, with that is all I have to say about this week's chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. What did you guys think about this week's chapter? I assume you're going to have much more to say about it than I do in this video, since, well, it won't be coming out until speed scans have come out and you guys have read them. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. So, yeah, with that's all I have to say for this week's review. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter reactions and reviews every week. Couldn't do a reaction this week because of said circumstances. But next week and most weeks after the fact, I should be fine, so you'll be getting 2 Jujutsu videos every week. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Kengan Omega, and Chainsaw Man, I do videos in those series as well, so if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. If you enjoy discussing Jujutsu Kaisen with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to that down in the description. And since it's the end of the video, it's time to give a shout out to my wonderful patrons: Fuse, Neo, Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Chris Redfield, Scratch23, Moonshadow935, Rat, Ryzen4K, and Artist. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at the end of videos, or access to reviews for Solo Leveling and The Boxer, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.